What's the definition of forward pervasion in the proof that Tarig is not written with a Q? Just for fun.
Is the ascertained by valid cognition to be existent in only in the concordant class?
Which concordant class?
Oh,
Tarig is not written with a Q.
in the concordant class of Tarig is now written
With a Q.
with the
What is the concordant class?
concordant class as empty, not empty of predicate.
Which is, what is the predicate in this?
Tarig.
That's subject.
Tarig not in the Q.
What's the predicate? Not written with a Q.
Not written.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, should we do a different one? What is the definition of forward pervasion in the proof that an apple is sweet, for example? Let's make it easier. That ascertained by a valid cognizer.
Apple is sweet. Sweet.
Yeah. So say the whole thing.
Okay. The proof that apple is sweet is that ascertained by valid cognition to be existent only in the concordant class.
Sweet.
Concordant class.
Which is sweet.
Which is sweet.
Huh?
The proof that apple is sweet by the person for whom it has become the second mode of a sign with regard to the proof of apple is sweet.
Perfect. Okay. Now, I think you know the definition of concordant class, you know the definition of discordant class. What you don't have in your text is the definition of correct concordant example. You only have the definition of concordant example. Okay? I want to give you Gen's definition. Yes. Sorry. First, you have some questions. Tell me. I'll tell you who Gen is afterwards. What were your questions?
So, the divisions of discordant class, there are three. Discordant class which is non-existing in the proof of that, discordant class which is other in the proof of that, and discordant class which is a contradictory in the proof of that. The examples are bona fide, object of knowledge, and permanent. Are these examples for the proof that sound is permanent by the sign product?
Impermanent.
Impermanent by the sign product.
Yes.
It follows that these are not the discordant class in that proof.
Which proof?
It follows that these are not the discordant class for the sign product, which proves sound to be impermanent.
Reason not established.
The reason.
Your subject is horns of a rabbit, object of knowledge, and permanent, no?
Yes.
These three, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
It follows the reason is established because these three are okay. It follows that these three, because these three are not the triply qualified imputed existent of that which is not empty of impermanence in the proof that of that which is not empty of impermanence in accordance with the mode of statement.
No pervasion.
No pervasion. It follows that these three are not. Okay. It follows that the definition of the concordant class in the proof that sound is impermanent by the sign product. It follows the definition of the concordant class for the sign product proving sound to be impermanent is that which is not empty of impermanence in accordance with the mode of statement.
Except?
It follows that the concordant class in that proof is defined by the definition
By this definition.
by this definition.
Except.
It follows that horns of a rabbit is not defined by this definition.
Except.
It follows that this that horns of a rabbit is not the concordant class.
Why?
Because it is because the discordant class. Sorry. It follows that horns of a rabbit, discordant, that horns of a rabbit, prominent and object of knowledge are not the discordant class of this proof, because there are discordant examples for this sign.
No provision.
No provision. It follows there is common locus between a discordant example and between a discordant class.
Except.
Posit the definition.
Wait, actually, object of knowledge is not really a discordant example, but the other two are discordant examples.
Yeah, I think that question is object of knowledge.
Object of knowledge.
Object of knowledge is not a discordant example because.
Is it? Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is. Horns of a rabbit will not be a discordant example.
What? Sorry?
Horns of a rabbit will not be a discordant example. Yeah. Object of knowledge and permanent are discordant examples. Horns of a rabbit is not a discordant example, sorry.
Okay.
It's the discordant class though.
Okay. Okay, so it follows you can posit the definition of the discordant example, which is what also you have asked me to.
Yeah. So we do that. But just 1 second. Take pot, it follows it is not impermanent
Why?
because it is not the triply qualified imputed existent of momentary.
No provision.
It follows for it to be impermanent, it doesn't have to be the triply qualified imputed existent of momentary.
Except.
It follows to be the discordant class, it doesn't have to be the triply qualified imputed existent of that which is empty of impermanent in accordance with the modus statement.
Yeah, except.
So then,
But it follows that in order to be a division of a concordant class,
discordant.
that it follows that in order to be a division of a discordant class,
Oh. It doesn't have to fulfill the definition, does it? Like it doesn't have to be the definition.
But these are not divisions.
What?
These are not divisions that you're saying.
These are divisions.
This is division, discord.
These are
They're
divisions.
illustrations.
Oh, he's talking, okay, yeah, they're illustrations of divisions. The divisions are other discordant class, non-existent discordant class, contradictory discordant class. These are illustrations of those three, right?
So, okay. So okay. So maybe I missed the part that these are illustration of the divisions
Yeah.
of the
There's
discordant
three
class,
yeah.
and not the illustrations of discordant classes
Yeah.
respectively. Just missed the part, I guess. Okay.
I had one doubt too. Object of knowledge is permanent, right?
Unfortunately. Yeah.
So how can it be an illustration for discordant class?
Because the discordant class is empty of impermanent, no? So object of knowledge is empty of impermanent in accordance with the modus statement is. Because it is not impermanent. Correct?
Empty of impermanent.
So object of knowledge in that sense is empty of impermanent in accordance with the modus statement where you're saying is or being. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, I think you should write down the definitions according to... Okay, so Gen is... Gen is Geshe Palden Rabwala. Geshe Palden Rabwa. Who is also... You know, Geshe Dorje Damdul taught that long thing online, which was, what was it?
Light.
Yeah, that one. You remember that one that he did a long teaching on Tibet House?
14 videos.
Some 14 videos where Geshe Dorje Damdul was teaching a text which he's translated. Okay, I thought you do you listen to Geshe Dorje Damdul's classes? Oh, okay. So if you look on Tibet House,
Yeah, in that announcement.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's an entire playlist where Geshe-la is teaching one text, which was written by his teacher. That is Geshe Palandravala. So this text that I have in front of me is written by Geshe Palandravala. This is Geshe-la's Duja, Lorik and Tarig. And so Geshe Palandrappa is like one of the, he's 90. I think Gen is 94. And he's currently one of the oldest, I think one of the oldest, maybe not the oldest, but one of the very senior Geshes who's left from Tibet. And he's generally considered by all the monasteries, all three, to be kind of like an authority. So if you really want to be sure of something and you ask Geshe-la, generally his answers are considered to be some of the most accurate answers. Geshe Palandrappa.
So he's taught so he's taught Geshe Dorje Damdul in IDD.
In Drepung. Geshe Dorje Damdula went to Drepung later. So Gen has been living, I think, his biography is in the book. There's an English translation actually. Yeah.
It's in the Tibet House website.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
you can find that.
I can even download the text for free. Delights for the sages. Then, because the first text was too short, they requested Geshe-la to write a longer text. So Geshe Padandrappa has written a longer text to explain the previous text, and then Geshe Dorje Damdul has also translated that. That hasn't been taught though, I don't think. So yeah, that's Geshe Pad. So when I say Gen, I say Gen to a lot of different people. But when this is the book and it's Gen, then it's Geshe Padandrappa. Yeah? Yeah.
So take object of knowledge. You have instances of impermanent and permanent.
Yeah.
So therefore, why is object of knowledge then referred to as permanent?
So the Duda answer is because it has a common locus with permanent.
Right.
That's the Duda answer. And I think that's right now. I asked Gen a lot of times this question. He said, when you're doing this in the beginning, don't try and explain too many things. Just give the first Duda answer, which is, if it has a common locus with permanent, it follows it is permanent.
Yeah, but I've never understood the reasoning behind that.
So Gen has said, don't give it. I'll follow Gen. Please just go. But there is a reason behind it. There is a reason behind it. Okay? So, the definition. It's long. The definition is long, huh? I'm telling you.
You have to go slow.
I'll go very slowly, don't worry. I'll take 3 minutes. It is, yeah? It is that example which can illustrate the pervasion between the reason and the predicate Why are you all writing it? You know this. What are you doing?
Practicing, taking notes.
That example which can illustrate the pervasion between the reason and the predicate after having been understood that can illustrate the pervasion between the reason and the predicate on the subject. Again, you're writing. You all please write. Yeah, so that example that can illustrate the pervasion between the reason and the predicate on the subject after having been understood on the example. Again, you're all because there's a different translation, no? Henrik is going to complain. Yeah? Is this okay?
This is the definition of discordant?
Correct, concordant example.
Concordant. Okay.
Yeah? And then the discordant example is actually very beautiful, but that example which can illustrate the pervasion between the opposite of the predicate, between the opposite of the reason and the opposite of the predicate,
Which can illustrate.
the pervasion between the opposite of the reason and the opposite of the predicate, and then it carries on. Yeah, I'll explain this to you, just write it. That example which can illustrate the pervasion between the opposite of the reason and the opposite of the predicate. Maybe those need to be inverted. Between the opposite of the predicate and the opposite of the reason, sorry. On the subject after having been understood on the example. Is that okay? So the definition of correct concordant example is that which can illustrate the pervasion between the reason and the predicate on the subject after having been understood on the example. And the definition of the correct discordant example is that which can illustrate the pervasion between the opposite of the predicate and the opposite of the reason on the subject after having been understood on the example. Now, while I was looking at your Tarig yesterday, I saw that you have the example of, what is it? Proof statement. Can you just look at it again? Proof statements, where there's the correct concordant example and discordant example. Did you find where it is, Naga? Yeah? Did you find it yesterday? Just pull it out. There. Look above, it says proof statement. Is there a proof statement above on the page where there's correct concordant example and discordant example? Did you find it, Shmuel? Okay. Okay, so proof statements are important because proof statements are different from syllogisms, the way they're said. Okay? Now listen, this is important because now then we can start debating. Okay? Did you find it? Pritika, does she have it? No, look on the other page. Look on the other page. On the other page, on top it says proof statement. On top, before that dense paragraph. The other page on the right, look there, proof statement. Look up, in the middle of the text somewhere, up there. Do you see proof statement? Just give it to me one sec. Here, right here. There exists the proof statement here. Please read in the middle. On this page here. You see? Yes. Found it? Yes. Can you share the page number?
21.
21. Please just go to page 21. Dumga. Andres, Dumga. Dumga. So Drubnga, okay, it's just learn the word Drubnga. Proof, Nga is sound, Drub is that which proves it or establishes it, no? So the sound that establishes. So it's not just a tensik or a ta, Nga. Yeah, Drubnga. Okay? Got it? What is the proof statement? Just read it to me.
Whatever is a product is necessarily impermanent. For example, just as in the case of horns of a rabbit.
Horns of rabbit.
Whatever is
a product is necessarily
impermanent, just as in the case of the horns of a rabbit. This is just with a concordant example, not with a correct concordant example. Okay? So how does it become with a correct concordant example? Whatever is a product is necessarily impermanent.
For example,
Pot. And the last bit which is missing here is also sound is produced. Okay, so just, I don't know if you want to write these down. I don't really know how you want to make sure that this will stick in your brain endlessly, because if you have this, then it helps a lot with Tarig. Okay? So you have it in the text. Just write there's two. There's a proof statement that proves the forward pervasion, and then there is a proof statement that proves the counter pervasion. With this, then we can debate today, okay? Is that okay? Now I know it's a lot of information, I'm sorry. But Tarig is like that. Okay? So you have the proof statement. No, you found it?
Yeah.
So just write the different there's two different proof statements. There's a proof statement that proves the forward pervasion, there's a proof statement that proves the counter pervasion. Yeah? The proof statement that proves the forward pervasion is whatever is produced is necessarily impermanent. For example, pot, even sound is produced. Yeah? Huh? Got it? Haven't we done this already? Why are you all looking so confused? Did we do this? Okay. Then do this and then you can debate.
How come we always think that horns of rabbit or permanent?
What do you mean?
Horns of rabbit, because it's object of knowledge. Isn't it supposed to be permanent? Horns of rabbit?
No, horns of a rabbit are non-existent, no?
Yeah, they're not existent, but the image.
That's the meaning generality of horns of a rabbit. Oh, that's an interesting thing.
Right.
So right now, the difference that you say is meaning generality of horns of a rabbit exist, horns of a rabbit don't exist. That's the thing, okay? So is this okay? The proof statement that proves the forward pervasion. Kelsey, what happened? Yeah, of course. Whatever is produced, Kelsey just zoned out. She tuned out. Whatever is produced is necessarily impermanent. For example, a pot, even sound is produced. Yeah? Is that okay?
So the even sound is kind of component,
No, sound is the subject.
no, whatever voice,
Yeah?
sound is,
Yeah?
even sound?
Is produced. Now listen to the other one. The the proof statement that proves the counter pervasion, yeah, is whatever is permanent is necessarily not produced. For example, uncompounded space, however sound is produced. Whatever is permanent is necessarily not produced. Yeah? Just like space, or uncompounded. We mean uncompounded, okay? Is that okay?
We did this, no, yesterday.
I thought so. You're all writing away like you
However, sound is produced.
However sound is produced, or but sound, whatever like.
That will be discarding.
That will be the proof statement that proves the counter pervasion. Okay? So what makes it the the second mode or the third mode depends on whether there is a correct concordant example or a correct discordant example. Is that okay, Shmuel, now? For someone for whom there is the second mode, Gen has written, is someone for whom there is a correct concordant example. For someone for whom there is the third mode, is someone for whom there is a correct discordant example. That's it. Is that okay? Now look at these proof statements. They're actually very beautiful. What it's saying is, whatever is produced, so let's say I'm debating with you. Okay? I want to make you know that sound is impermanent. How can I do it? There's a lot of things I have to do. When I do all of those things, there will come a moment when product will become a correct sign for you. Okay? When product will become a correct sign for you, then my job is very easy. Then I just have to give you this proof statement. I can say it like this, or I can say it as a syllogism. If I say it as a syllogism, I'll say, take sound, it is impermanent because it is produced. For example, pot. Or I will say the proof statement, which is whatever is produced is necessarily impermanent. For example, a pot, even sound is produced. Okay? What happens when I say this to you is, you know that produced is pervaded by impermanent. Yes? You know that. Why do you know this? Because you know the forward pervasion. So you know that produced exists only in the concordant class. Okay? You know that sound is produced because you know the property of the subject. It's a correct sign for you, huh? When you know these things, all I have to remind you is say, Naga, whatever is produced has to be impermanent. For example, a pot. And you will remember, because I remember having understood on a pot that whatever is produced must be impermanent. You'll remember that. And then I'll say, even sound is produced. And you'll say, oh, so then sound, just like a pot, must also be impermanent if it is produced. And when you understand the pervasion on sound, you will understand the thesis. So for you, inference will rise. Okay?
So, so a proof statement is mutually inclusive with a syllogism?
So you won't say it's mutually inclusive because a syllogism is something that has three parts. A proof statement is sound, technically, but they are expressing the same thing in different ways.
So a proof statement, so you said that they're not mutually inclusive because a syllogism has three parts.
Because a syllogism has three parts, and a syllogism is like a non-associative compositional factor, whereas a proof statement is sound. Yeah, that's why you say statement. It's verbal.
So it follows that a syllogism is a non-associative compositional factor which is imputed on consciousness,
I think on matter.
on matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the syllogisms will be the things that you're talking about, no?
So a syllogism is imputed on a proof statement?
I wonder if you can say it's imputed on a proof statement. I don't know actually. I've never thought about this.
So it follows that a proof statement is mutually inclusive with inference for another.
No, because inference is mine.
But if inference for another, it is necessarily matter.
No, inference for another. Inference. Inference is inference. It will be mind.
Isn't there a division in logic which says that inference for a terminological division of inference?
I don't think that's.
Inference for another is matter.
Is there inference for another? So there's Shenthak, there's.
I got it from another.
Maybe. So what you're referring to is there are certain signs that are for yourself and there are certain signs that are for others. There is inference that is for yourself and then there's inference for another. Rangyu ki jepa. Yeah, I think so. So that's how it is. So this reason will be a reason for someone else. Yeah? Is that okay?
So a proof statement is matter.
A proof statement is matter because it's sound.
And
Yeah.
the syllogism actually is not a term we have found in our text. I don't think that in this text.
No, it doesn't talk about syllogisms at all. Syllogisms it doesn't bring up.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay?
And okay, now this goes off topic a bit, but a sign is not necessarily matter.
Sign is permanent.
Sign is permanent.
Yeah. Because that's a common locus is permanent. No, sign.
Sign.
Sign. So sign is sound. What? Tak sukoba. That which is, what is the definition of sign?
Which is stated as a sign.
Stated, so it's sound. Sign is sound.
So it follows that a tree is an object of ear consciousness.
Why?
Because it is a sound.
No
Because
pervasion.
it is a sign.
No pervasion. If it is a sign, it doesn't follow it is sound. I guess you could say that. You have to say something like that, no?
If it is a sign, it doesn't follow the sign.
No.
If it is a sound, it doesn't follow it.
What would you do? No, if that's a definition of sign, Vishing Tasukoba. Tasuko Vishing. The sign is that which is stated as a sign.
Okay, so then the statement tree is the sign.
No, so then sign is permanent, sorry.
Sign is permanent.
No, it can't be because a correct sign is that which directly produces inference, so it can't be.
Nobody asked this question before.
No one's asked this question before.
That's great. This is cool.
You want me to give an answer?
What?
You want me to give an answer?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Sign, if I have to say something,
Yeah,
so I have to try and now make sure that everything in the text doesn't contradict itself. If it is an existent, it follows it as a sign. Correct sign. So I'll have to come up with something weird. Very easy. I know what it is. What you ask me, I've got it. Ask me. What do you want to know?
basically want to understand is just how to. I mean, this can be subject for debate, like whether a sign is permanent, sound, or this.
No, sign is not permanent.
Okay. But so I just want to understand how maybe it's because I'm trying to think in terms of somehow to correlate it to Western categories and see how it fits.
Okay.
In Western categories, a syllogism is sound. A syllogism is a statement.
Yeah.
And a sign, so far at least, I thought this is something which happens in my head. Therefore, if it can be stated by me to me, for example. Therefore, it is imputed maybe on consciousness.
I wonder if you can say sign, but
because it is a sign, it gives rise to
yeah, so it has to be produced. Sign has to be produced.
It has to produce a consciousness.
Yeah, it has to produce inference, so it has to be impermanent. But you can also state permanent things as signs. So then what will you say? So that then a sign is the object of a statement. Let's go like that.
So a statement, is it matter?
The statement is matter. The referent of a statement is what a sign is. So when you say the statement, that is a proof statement. The sign is the referent of that statement. There we go, that's it. Done.
Can't I say a proof statement to myself? Like
You can.
myself of something mentally.
Yeah, so then
it is not sound.
So then it is not a sign.
Why?
Rangyu kita. No, you can say that to yourself. So statements can be mental, statements don't have to be sound. It is a referent of a statement.
So a statement can be sound and a statement can be
Matter? No, not matter. Sound is matter. Wait, why are you saying sound and matter?
A statement
Yeah.
can be sound
Yeah.
and it also can be matter.
But sound is matter.
Sorry, so it can be sound, it can be consciousness.
Yeah.
So what is then the definition of a statement if it can be sound and it can be consciousness?
Statement is just something that is, it's something that is verbalized. But in English, verbalized means with sound, no?
Yeah, I would think so.
It can be internally.
Yeah, so there's also internal verbalizing. So that which is verbalized, that's what statement means.
So then a statement is a non-associated compositional factor which is imputed on matter or on consciousness.
On either one of them.
On
Yeah.
either one.
Yeah. You can probably say that, that's fine. For example, you can say, what can you say? Yeah, you can object possessors, no? Object possessors.
Okay.
What is an object possessor? Is it matter?
An object possessor are divided into three. Person, sign, person.
Itself, what is it? What is an object possessor itself?
Itself. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's a non-associated composition.
Because it can be imputed either on sound or on consciousness or on person. So itself it is a non-associative compositional factor. But proof statements are sound. That get clear.
So why can't I say proof statement to me?
Because the purpose of saying a proof statement is to generate inference on someone else. When you say it to yourself, it's not considered a proof statement.
But then when it's written,
So this is a thing that they've always discussed. But even when it's written, then you're going to go through it in your head, right?
you read it.
You read it. But there's a very strange thing that the Buddhists say. They say if you are generating inference about something for the first time, it can't happen by yourself. Someone has to be telling you. Now this is another, you can open this discussion, but I have no answer for it.
But
Does-
it could be like inference generated.
No.
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 So if I did that,
You can't have inference. This is something that the Buddhists say. I don't know why they say it, but they say this. And then my teachers at IB, they said, this is why you need a guru. At the end of the day, why you need to rely on someone else is because for inference to be generated for the first time about something, it has to be someone else. And there's a whole discussion about how there has to be a... Sorry?
how did the Buddha?
That's another discussion. How the Buddha did it because someone told the Buddha. No, the Buddha did it by himself. No, that's another entire parenthesis. But according to our Pramana, the second chapter, the Buddha did it by himself. The Buddha did it by himself, but that's why the Buddha was such a special being. After the Buddha, we need someone else. That's why also in the Pramana Vartika that there's this obsession about trying to prove that the Buddha is a reliable guide, no? Remember there was that whole thing about why can't our teachers be reliable guides? Because they relied on someone else and then they relied on someone. And at the end, the Buddha is reliable without having depended on anyone else. There's also that came up. That's why he's such a big deal. So if you want to follow the Pramana thing, we need someone to tell us to generate inference. The Buddha didn't need. That's why Buddhas are special. Yeah? Now why we need someone else, I don't know. I have never understood. So apparently if you read a text, it's not going to happen. I don't know why. Okay? Huge digression. Can we get back? Yeah, okay. So the proof statement, what is the proof statement for proving the discord? Counter provision. What is the proof statement?
Whatever is permanent is necessarily not produced. For example, uncomposed space. However,
Sound is produced. So what happens over here is, now Naga has thought about it primarily through the impermanent and product thing. You thought about permanent and produced. You're like, can something be permanent and produced? And after reasoning, you realized on uncompounded space that if something is permanent, it can't be produced. And you have realized that sound is produced. Okay? For you, I can say the proof statement that proves that establishes the counter pervasion. And I'll say, Shmuel, if something is permanent, it cannot be produced. For example, space. And so you quickly go through the counter pervasion in your head. And then I'll say, but sound is produced. And so you'll say, if it is permanent, it can't be produced. But sound is produced. And so immediately you'll think, and therefore it can't be permanent. And so you will understand that sound is not permanent by thinking of the counter pervasion. That's how this whole process will work. Is that okay? Yeah? Is that okay? So that's why a forward pervasion and a counter pervasion lead to inference. This is how they lead to inference. And why you need the property of the subject. Is that okay? Yeah? Now can we do the debate for forward pervasion and counter pervasion together? Huh? No, not next year, now. Can I keep you 15 minutes over dinner?
Yeah.
Then we can just do 5 minutes with them, yeah? Or 10 minutes over dinner? Here.
can I quickly?
Go to the loo.
Yeah.
No, we're not starting yet. Please go. Okay? Both of you. No, we're not done. Where are you going? Wait.
Just began.
Now the debate is there. So what are you going to debate? Take the forward pervasion and the counter pervasion. It follows you have to realize them at the same time. Yes? Take someone for whom it is the first mode. Oh, okay, so do this. What is the relation between someone for whom there is the second mode in the proof that sound is impermanent and someone for whom there is the forward pervasion in the proof that sound is impermanent? With the signed product, huh? Do it. Do it. And then, what is the relation between someone for whom there is the third mode in the proof that sound is impermanent with the signed product, and someone for whom there is a counter pervasion in the proof that sound is impermanent with the signed product? Naga, it's a very weird one, I know. Did you get it? You get fried by them now, no?
Can we write this down?
Yeah, please. what is the relation between someone for whom there is the second mode in the proof that sound is impermanent with the signed product and someone for whom there is the forward pervasion in the proof that sound is impermanent with the signed product? Yeah? And then the second one is the same thing but with third mode, right? What is the relation between someone for whom there is a third mode in this proof that sound is impermanent with the signed product and then someone for whom there is the counter pervasion in the proof that sound is impermanent with the signed product? Intuitively, what do you want to say?
Three possibilities.
Three? Paula? Inclusive?
Cool. Very cool that you said something.
Naga, what do you feel?
Say something, you feel like you have to say something.
What do you feel?
I mean, I feel
Sound is sign product and then third one, right?
What do you feel? What do you feel?
I feel emotionally inclusive.
Good. You and Paula are thinking the same way. You and these three are different. Okay? So here, try this today, okay? Work through it. It's very laborious, but work through it, okay? And then tomorrow we can do the other debate of which comes first. And with that, I think we've done a good amount of three modes, hopefully at a level of understanding why it's important, also it's clear, and then also a little bit of debate will be clear, okay? And then maybe the last 2 days we can do the effect sign and things. We'll see, okay? Yeah? Okay, great. So we wait for them to